Hello and welcome to my Let's Rate Civilization 6 Rise and Fall. In this video I will talk a little bit about the new civilizations, respective the new leader, and judge them. This is like a semi-professional rating list that I'm making here, or at least I will tell my opinions about the new civs and leader and how good I think they are. From the old ones, I think really good is Nubia, Rome, and Scythia, also Gilgamesh. Those are probably the strongest, while Rome, in my opinion, taking the lead, followed by Nubia. Now, the new ones, we have Chandragupta, which is just a better Gandhi, because he gets the super strong unit Varu, and also can declare territorial expansion wars, which are really neat wars, and in the first 10 turns your units get +2 movement and 5 combat strength. It doesn't work on the turn you declare war on actually though. It needs a turn to actually take it in account. But still, I'd say this one is pretty good for domination, otherwise mediocre, but it's actually pretty decent. Not comparable to Scythia, Nubia or Rome, but still good. Okay, Germany is also pretty good for economy. Okay, then we have Genghis Khan. Genghis is really good for domination and really shitty for everything else. In domination though, he really excels. With horses, if you have a high production start, get a few settlers out, are not swarmed by barbarians and then get into your units and get a Keshiks out, you can really roll over the world. He's really damn good. One of the best domination civs. Comparable to Scythia, although I prefer Scythia because her benefits kick in earlier than his. And that's very important, that your military benefits kick in early enough to take advantage of it. Then you have Lautaro for the Mapuche. He's close to being garbage. The unique unit comes a bit late. He's okay, but that's all. The +10 combat strength in Golden Age civilizations is really good, especially since you can see when ages start and end. So you at least know for how long, more or less, the civilizations will stay in their Golden Age. This means you have a time window where you can time your attack and get +10 on all your units. That's kinda neat, but still, the target you want to attack must have a Golden Age, otherwise this is completely useless. So you have still again little control over it, so I value this not much. Then the loyalty thing for the city you're attacking, I think that's just annoying. Because when a city turns to a neutral city, it spawns with 2 units, so you have 2 more units you have to kill. That's kinda annoying. And you just want to roll over the enemies and not get rebellion cities and take them then. I think it doesn't make things easier. It doesn't make things much harder too, because these rebellion cities will also be enemies to the enemy. But the barbarians and the rebellion units tend to prefer to attack you and not the enemy, even if they're at war with both. And the Cemamul it gives culture, good for tourism, but it's not better than the chateau, and it's the only thing they have for tourism. So it's a shit civilization all in all, with bad synergy. Poundmaker. The additional land he gets with the trade route and the fact that he gets a free trader, that is really good. That saves you a lot of money and gives you some food production and money. That's really good. The Mequop is utter shit, because on a hill you rather have a mine, and on a flat land you will not really work flat land, unless it's better than a hill or a luxury or a bonus resource, which the Miqwap is not until very late. The Okechitaw is a stronger scout, which is nice to have a stronger scout, of course, but the scout upgrade path is very awkward, not good. And it's still a scout, this means it's still not better than a warrior or anything. And the free promotion is also a bait, this means if you get attacked by barbarians, you do not get experience, which means you do not get a promotion, which means you cannot heal. So a stronger scout that does still just want to scout, I don't like it. Yeah, I mean, the benefits with the traders are good, but that's kind of the only thing that is good with them. The rest is shit. The rest is shit. Also, I think the scout, I'd rather have a normal scout, because a normal scout may be weaker and not get a free promotion, but a normal scout is cheaper. And early on, that's so much more important. So Poundmaker, he has benefits, but he's not good. He's far from being good. Let's go to someone way better. Robert the Bruce, Scotland, is actually good. Declare the War of Liberation to get 100 production is really good if you manage to get a War of Liberation, which I never did. Even when not playing Robert the Bruce, I really never had the chance to declare a War of Liberation. So that's actually not so great. The golf course is pretty decent though, because it gives some housing, some culture, some money, and an amenity. That's decent, to have a golf course in every city. You want it, especially since you want your amenity stuff going. Stuff like the Colosseum or the Temple of Artemis. Oh my god, they are so good for Scotland, because if you get your people happy, you get 10% to science and production, which is what you want when going to a science victory. You want science and production. And the second thing is generate great scientist points and engineer points. When the cities are happy, that's really great. You want these points, and you get +2 of them if your city is ecstatic. So if you really manage to get those amenities rolling and have in your cities engineer districts and science districts, oh my god, Robert Bruce is then really, really good. He gets only beaten by the next person. Korea. Korea is the most broken civ of all the civilizations that Rise and Fall brought us. A district that gets disadvantages from adjacency bonus, okay, fine, can deal with that, just put the other districts to each other and not to the science district, but gets +4 science on default. What? Usually you get like +2 maybe, because you find 2 mountains or some jungles, or get some adjacency benefits out of it. But +4? I get that very rarely when I have the luck of having lots of mountains around me. She just gets that for every city. Okay, she has to place it on a hill, but you will find that single hill. I'm sure of it. And even if there is some resource on it, you will just chop it and get your Sion going. That +4 science is just totally worth it. Also, she gets +10% culture and science, especially science, in every city with a governor. They are like, wait, how many governors are in the game? There's a science guy, there's the production guy, there's the money girl, there's the worker girl, there's the castellan, there's the religious guy, there's the diplomatic girl. I think that's it. That's 7. 7 governors. So in 7 cities you will have the district. Because if you play properly, you will get all the governors, especially as Korea. So 7 cities, which is an amount of cities you really want to have, get this 10% culture and a Sion. And mines, addition to the Sion, get +1 science. You want mines in your empires. Mines are actually good. So if you manage to place a Sion on a hill that is surrounded by hills, or at least mine resources, you get even more science, which gets gets even better with a plus 10% science. That alone is so incredibly good for a science victory, but of course also for domination victory, since the people, you win the war when you have the better units first. And when we talk about better units, the Hwacha is broken. It is way stronger than a crossbow, nearly as strong as a field cannon, and it replaces the field cannon, okay, but it comes much earlier and is much cheaper. It is like, oh, you're still stuck at crossbows? Well, I've got already my Hwacha get slaughtered. Hwachas slaughter enemies. Super unit. So Korea, the strongest. Then Shaka is pretty good for military victory, for domination. He's really good. For everything else, he's utter nonsense, shit, garbage. But for military victory, he's good. He gets a unique encampment. He gets a unique unit that gets quite decent benefits, and he gets armies and corps earlier. He can get those promotions even for free when taking out cities. So once you get rolling with this, you keep going rolling. So if you rush the impies, say you prepare a few spearmen and then upgrade them well timed to impies and roll over your neighbors, you will win a domination victory even on DT. Then we come to the worst of them all. Oh my god, where do I even start with this? Playing Tamar is like playing a vanilla civ, a civ without benefits. Let's go through it. Plus 100% faith for 10 turns. Sounds good. After declaring a protectorate war. What? How often do you declare protectorate wars? Not often. And it's still just plus 100 plus 10 turn for 10 turns. Plus 100% faith is really good. You get a lot of faith in that, and maybe you get some faith buying units. That is really good. But it's still just for 10 turns, and only if you declare a protectorate war, which is kind of awkward, because it's hard to do that, and you have very little control over that. Then each envoy you send to a city-state of your majority religion counts as 2 envoys. Okay, if city-states are still alive, and if you have a religion, and if you have your religion in those city-states, then that is useful. If. And there are so many ifs. On DT, you do not get ifs. City-states usually survive not long. Only those that are far from people usually survive. So if you're lucky, you have like in your backyard some city-states that are locked in there and not accessible easily by other people. Then you can get that going if you get a religion, which is something else that is really hard to get on DT and usually not rewarded well enough. So these benefits already pretty much useless for all the time. And when making a declaration, a dedication at the beginning of a golden age, receive its normal age bonus toward improving era score in addition to its golden age bonus. So if you get a golden age, this is pretty good. This is really useful because it lets you easier get another golden age. So if you play well, you can get golden age after golden age after golden age after golden age after golden age, which is actually pretty good. That's its best benefit. And still it requires you to actually manage to get a golden age, which is not always that easy and depends a lot on the situation and the unique things you can make, which we come to, which give golden age points, which we have here, the Renaissance wall replacement. First of all, it's not medieval wall, it's Renaissance wall. It comes a bit late. Second of all, it's cheaper, that's good, but still, do I ever build these walls for defense purpose? No. I built the first walls for defense purpose, if any. The other walls only come for tourism, which she gets 3 after advancing to the conservation civic, which is nice, and also 3 faith, which is nice. But it's still like, do walls even in a tourism game have a high priority for me? No. Is 3 faith for a cheaper wall a lot? No, not if Renaissance walls, which came quite late and have low priority. So it's nice, but not really impactful. And then the unit +7 combat strength when fighting in hill terrain sounds really good because you like to stand your units on hill, and +7 is good. No movement penalty in hill terrain is also good, but it comes kinda late and it's about as strong as a swordsman. So it's like more expensive than a swordsman, slightly stronger than a swordsman, and comes later than a swordsman. Which means on DT it will not fight swordsmen, it will fight knights. It's like the samurai. It's shit. I mean, it would be good if it came earlier or were cheaper, but it's not. That's why it's shit. You'd rather just build knights at that point. So this is the worst civilization, probably of all civilization. She is really strong in competing with being the worst of all civilization. Which is really sad because the ideas behind her concept, like walls and golden age faith, sounds really cool, but the way they did it, nah, useless. Then we come to another garbage civilization, the Netherlands, which were some of my favorite civilizations in 5, but here they are garbage. Why? The trade routes to your own cities provide loyalty per turn. That's nice, but it's just 1, that's not much. Then trade routes to foreign cities or from foreign cities provide 1 culture. That's nice, but let's be honest. The very first few trade routes are internal for food and production. So it's a nice bonus, but not any impactful. Then major adjacency bonus for campuses, theater squares and industrial zones if next to river, and culture bombing adjacent tiles and completing a harbor. The culture bomb thing is pretty much useless because you don't culture bomb with harbor. Harbors you place between luxuries and they are usually not at borders. Very rarely you actually make use of this. I mean, it's still nice to get the tiles around it for free, saves you some money maybe, but you will not like take over land you're competing with someone else. Very rarely. But then we come to the best bonus, which is actually that major adjacency bonus. It's just +2, so with major, it's not that major. Korea has a major bonus. But still, it's +2 for campuses, theater squares, and industrial zones when on a river. So if you like clump up your districts on a river and have a lot of rivers in your land, then that is actually really damn good, really useful. That's +2 for free for all your stuff if you get the riverlands. And for example, if you have like industrial zones surrounded by hills, so lots of mines, and also next to a river, you can get a +7 industrial zone or something like that. Same with the campus. If you find such as a rare, very rare spot, but it happened, I've seen it, just not when playing Wilhelmina, when you find that mountain gap, where you like have 4 mountains adjacent and also a river, that's +6 science for her. So that is actually useful, and especially you can plan it and you have it in control. Then the polder is a good tile improvement because +1 food and 1 production and 1 more food if there is another polder adjacent is actually really good. I mean, it's useful. That's a good tile improvement. The problem with it is it needs 3, it must be on water, and needs 3 flat lands adjacent to it. Which is kind of hard to find. Sometimes you're lucky and you get like a 6-tile lake where all of these tiles actually fulfill that criteria. Then you have 6 poled tiles. Whew! That is so good. Find another lake to place Hueoteocalli in there and they get even better. That's ridiculous. but you have to find it. And Polder comes in kind of late at civil service. Yeah. Then the 7th Provincian, if you play on a naval map, this thing is great. Amazing. For domination victory. So, I have to say, she is not necessarily always shit. She's a little bit like Norway. On a naval map, she's super strong. On a Pangea or something, she's mediocre at best. If you're lucky with the terrain, she's mediocre. If you're not lucky with the terrain, she's shit. I mean, if you are very unlucky, you get no lakes, no rivers, you're at the coast, but it's all hills, so you play like a vanilla civ without any benefits. So if I had to make a ranking, then Korea would take the spot number 1, followed by the Mongols, the Zulu, and the Scots. And Chandragupta. Although Chandragupta only counts half, because the Varu was already there before he was cool. So the Mongols and the Zulu are really good for domination, that's why they are in the spot. The Scots are really decent in general, not as strong as Korea though, but still good. And Korea is just broken. Really bad is Tamar, Mapuche. Yeah, Tamar, Mapuche, and Wilhelmina are the losers of the rise and fall at all. So that was my list, and I hope you like this list. Oh, Poundmaker is somewhere in the middle. If you disagree, then please write a comment and tell me where you disagree. Give me a counter argument. Tell me where you think I haven't given a fair judgment. If you agree, please tell me too. I like to know if you think this was well thought through. So, that was it. See you next time. Have a nice day.